The specialist's office was quiet, sterile, and far too bright. Jungkook sat stiffly on the examination bed, his hands clutched tightly together in his lap. Taehyung stood near the wall, arms folded, his presence grounding but overwhelming all at once. The doctor smiled gently after reviewing the scans. "Mr. Jian, there's no doubt. You're pregnant." The words fell like thunder. Jungkook's heart stopped. His throat closed. He felt the world spin beneath him. "No," he whispered, shaking his head violently. "No, that's not possible. You must have made a mistake." "I understand it's difficult to accept," the doctor said softly, "but the results are clear. You're in your early stages, but everything looks stable so far." Jungkook's eyes blurred with tears. He buried his face in his hands, trembling uncontrollably. "This wasn't supposed to happen," he choked out. "This marriage was never supposed to be real. Now what am I supposed to do?" Before the doctor could speak, Taehyung moved forward. His hand slid onto Jungkook's shoulder, firm and grounding. "You'll do nothing alone," Taehyung said, his voice low but resolute. Jungkook lifted his tear-streaked face, eyes filled with disbelief. "Why are you saying that? This isn't your burden." "It is," Taehyung interrupted, his jaw tight, his gaze unwavering. "It's mine as much as yours." The ride home was suffocatingly silent. Jungkook sat curled against the window, his thoughts spiraling. Taehyung drove steadily, one hand gripping the wheel, the other resting unconsciously near Jungkook's knee, close enough to offer comfort, far enough not to push. When they reached home, Jungkook finally broke the silence. "What if I can't do this?" His voice was small, trembling. "What if I'm not strong enough?" Taehyung turned to him, his expression fierce yet gentle. "Then I'll be strong for you. For both of you." Jungkook's lips parted, but no words came. His heart ached with confusion, fear, and something dangerously close to hope. That night, alone in bed, Jungkook pressed his hand to his stomach, whispering into the darkness, "I don't know if I can love you, but maybe he can." And somewhere down the hall, Taehyung lay awake, already planning how to protect the fragile life, and the fragile boy he now considered his to keep safe. Days passed, but Jungkook couldn't stop replaying the doctor's words in his head. "You're pregnant." No matter how many times he tried to deny it, the truth clung to him like a shadow. The exhaustion, the nausea, the strange flutter of warmth in his lower belly, it all made sense now. And yet, he couldn't accept it. Taehyung, on the other hand, didn't waste time. He began quietly rearranging his schedule, moving meetings online, staying home more often than he ever had. Jungkook noticed. "You don't have to babysit me," Jungkook muttered one afternoon, curled up on the couch with a blanket. "I'm not babysitting," Taehyung replied without looking up from the document in his hand. "Then what are you doing?" Taehyung's gaze lifted, sharp but steady. "Making sure you don't faint again in the middle of the hallway." Jungkook flushed, biting his lip. That was one time, and one time too many. The push and pull between them only grew sharper. At dinner, Taehyung placed an extra helping of vegetables on Jungkook's plate. Jungkook scowled. "I don't want it, you need it," Taehyung countered. "You can't control everything I do." Taehyung's jaw tightened. "Maybe not. But I can control whether or not you collapse from weakness. So yes, Jungkook, you'll eat." Jungkook slammed his chopsticks down, tears pricking his eyes. "Stop treating me like I'm some fragile thing. This wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't ask for this." Taehyung, The outburst stunned them both into silence. Jungkook's shoulders trembled, his breath ragged. I don't even know if I can be a parent. I can barely take care of myself. For a long moment, Taehyung said nothing. Then, slowly, he reached across the table, his hand steady as it covered Jungkook's clenched fist. You don't have to do this alone, Taehyung said softly. The fire in his eyes gentled into something far more dangerous, devotion. That night, Jungkook lay awake, staring at the ceiling. His heart was still racing, his mind still screaming, but deep inside, beneath the fear, a fragile hope whispered, maybe he really won't leave. The house was quiet that evening. Rain pattered softly against the windows, a calm rhythm that made Jungkook's eyelids heavy. He curled on the couch, one hand absent-mindedly resting on his stomach. Taehyung sat across from him with his laptop, though his eyes often drifted away from the screen to Jungkook, like they always did lately. Jungkook shifted, sighing. He wasn't sure if it was just nerves, but there was a strange flutter deep in his belly. Not pain. Not nausea. Something different, gentle, almost alive. His breath caught. He pressed his palm harder against his stomach. There it was again, faint but undeniable. Taehyung, Jungkook whispered, his voice trembling. Taehyung's head snapped up immediately. What's wrong? Are you in pain? No. Jungkook swallowed hard, eyes wide. I think I just felt something. Taehyung was beside him in an instant, kneeling by the couch, his hand hesitating in the air. Can I? Jungkook nodded it shakily, guiding Taehyung's large hand to rest over his own. For a long second, there was nothing. Then, another flutter. Taehyung's eyes widened, his breath catching as though the air had been punched from his lungs. Jungkook, a soft, broken laugh slipped out of Jungkook, though tears pooled in his lashes. It's real. It's really real. Taehyung didn't speak. He just pressed his forehead against Jungkook's shoulder, his grip firm but careful. His whole body trembled with emotions he'd never said aloud. And for the first time since he learned the truth, Jungkook didn't feel afraid. He felt connected. Not only to the life inside him, but to the man holding him like he was something irreplaceable. That night, when Taehyung tucked a blanket around him and whispered, "You're not alone in this, Jungkook." Not ever. Jungkook believed him, just a little. The delivery room was a blur of voices, light, and fear. Jungkook clutched Taehyung's hand so tightly his knuckles turned white. Sweat dampened his temples, but his eyes never left Taehyung's. I can't, Jungkook sobbed, his voice breaking. Yes, you can, Taehyung whispered fiercely, brushing the wet strands of hair from his forehead. You're the strongest person I know. I'm right here. Always. Hours felt like days, but then, a small, sharp cry filled the room. Jungkook's world stopped. The nurse laid a tiny bundle against his chest, and Jungkook gasped as tears spilled freely. Taehyung, look. Taehyung bent low, his own eyes glassy as he kissed Jungkook's damp cheek. His hands trembled as he touched the baby's small fingers. Ours, he whispered, the word reverent. Our family. Later, when the chaos quieted, Jungkook sat in bed with the baby resting against him. Taehyung stood at the window, the city lights painting his silhouette in gold. Taehyung, Jungkook called softly. He turned, walking back to the bed. His usually confident expression was uncharacteristically nervous. I know how we started, Taehyung began, his voice low. A contract. An agreement. Just business. He reached out, brushing his fingers along Jungkook's wrist. But Jungkook, I can't go back to pretending anymore. Not after everything. Not after you. Jungkook's heart thudded painfully. Taehyung, I love you, Taehyung said simply, the words spilling out like they'd been locked away for too long. Not because of the contract. Not because of the baby. Just you. All of you. I want this, forever. If you let me. Jungkook's tears came silently this time, his lips trembling as he whispered back, I love you too. I was just so scared you didn't mean it. Taehyung leaned forward, pressing a soft but certain kiss to his lips. For the first time, there was no push or pull. No pretense. No walls. Just love. Their baby stirred between them, tiny hands curling, as if blessing their promise. Jungkook smiled, resting his head against Taehyung's chest, whispering the words that ended everything they had once been afraid of. We are not a contract anymore. We are a family.